Welcome to Amish Roots, plain talk in a modern world. Thank you for joining me. In my previous vlog called Tales of an Old Maid, I told you about a group of older single ladies from my Amish community, including me, who formed a group we affectionately called the Old Maids. As I said before, we were not a gaggle of girls who sat around knitting and talking about the weather and our gardens. We met about once every 2 months to have fun. We liked to tell stories, which were sometimes true, sometimes exaggerated, but almost always ended up with us laughing until our sides hurt. We also enjoyed playing board games, which we always took very seriously for the first 15 minutes. And then we all began to competitively try to win by any means necessary. Yes, even if it meant bending and eventually breaking the rules. This led to many discussions about honesty, but always ended up with hilarity. I remember one night the old maids came to our home, and my sister and I prepared supper for them. My mom and dad said they wanted us to have a nice evening with our friends, so they offered to serve the meal and clean up afterwards. We happily accepted their offer. Remember, I said in the other vlog that others from our community wanted to get in on the action? Well, my parents were no different. As we seated ourselves around the table, my sister and I explained that we would be waited on that evening. Oh, the ladies were quite impressed that we would be served and would not have to do any work. My mom was the first to appear from the kitchen, carrying in bowls of food to the ladies who were in the dining room. She was soon followed by my dad, also carrying things. Our guests began to laugh as my Amish dad, with his graying beard and suspenders, came in dressed in a kerchief and an apron. He told us he just wanted to fit in. Ach, how embarrassing. True to their word, my parents looked after us well and joined in the fun. One thing we always took seriously at our old maid parties was the food. Whoever hosted the event always went to great pains to serve a delicious meal. From salad to dessert, we put in the extra effort to make it memorable. The funny thing is, if you asked any of us today what we ate at these outings, we probably wouldn't be able to tell you, except for one night. This particular evening, we were at the home of three sisters, and I'm sure we had a wonderful supper, but it was the dessert we all remember. As they were dishing it out, they explained that we were to wait until everyone was served, and then we would all try it together. Our instructions were that we would all take a bite, and then we were going to have to guess what it was called. This was making us all a bit nervous, and we wondered if it was safe to consume. We began to tease the sisters that they were trying to feed us bad food. To ease our concerns, one of the sisters took a bite to prove it was gut worthy. Now, the dessert itself looked delicious. It appeared to have a chocolate cake type bottom with a layer of chocolate pudding topped with whipped cream. Well, let me tell you, it tasted even better than it looked, and we all began to marvel at how delicious it was. As we savored the dessert and began to ask what was in it that made it so tasty, they began to giggle. We discovered the dessert was more than just chocolate cake, whipped cream, and pudding. There was a secret ingredient that none of us could identify. The more we wondered and the more we commented, the funnier they thought it was. The sisters asked us if we could figure out what it was called. We guessed things like Mississippi mud, cheesecake, and all kinds of made up possibilities, but we never answered correctly. Finally, They told us that since we enjoyed it so much, they had better tell us what it was. With great delight, they informed us the dessert was called Sex in a Pan. Now, you need to stay with me here. This was a group of single Amish ladies who were not dating anyone. Most of us had never had a boyfriend, and these sisters were telling us that we just had sex in a pan. There was a bit of a startled hush over the room, and then we all started laughing, and someone, can't remember who it was, blurted out, "No wonder we enjoyed it so much." This, of course, sent us into more gales of mirth. For all the fun we had and the joy we experienced together, the funniest part of our Old Maid group is that most of us ended up getting married. For a group of ladies that were considered beyond any hope of finding partners, the majority of us proved our doubters wrong. Could it be that word got out that we were a lot of fun? Was it because the male species suddenly realized the wonderful personalities of this group of ladies? Or was it our reputation of good cooking that attracted the opposite sex? Whatever the reasons as to why we all got married later in life than usual, or what that secret ingredient was in the pan of goodness, I will never forget our times together. And that dessert was the best I ever had. The strangest thing is, I never had it again. And to this day, it remains as a one night experience. Mach's gut, and see you next time on Amish Roots.